Okay, we're live. We're live. We got to react to this brutal tomfoolery at Lucas Oil Stadium, but we just got to let it breathe for a second. Connect all the destinations, including the Facebookers, and we'll get things rocking. Whew, that was brutal. Welcome in, everybody. It is the Mile High Huddle podcast, the gut reaction to Broncos Colts. I'm your host, Chad Jensen. With me, my fellow football priest. You know him, you love him, Zack Kelberman. Zack, neither you nor I predicted a Colts win in the roundtable this week. However, I've been trying to tell everybody the Colts are not a joke. Daniel Jones, there's something going on there. And granted, Zack, it was only one game that I saw going into this, right? But there's just a different energy and a different vibe. What's your gut reaction to the Broncos choking away what should have been a relative, even in the face of all the issues that happened, should have been a relatively comfortable win in that fourth quarter? Gut reaction.
They snatched victory from the jaws of defeat, Chad. They took you from the roller coaster of high to the roller coaster of low. And that's because, here's my hot take, Sean Payton got outcoached today. Vance Joseph got outcoached today. Shane Steichen from the Colts, I'll raise my hand. I underestimated them. I underestimated Daniel Jones. They are legitimate. I don't know about championship caliber, but they took the fight to the Broncos today, and they hit the Broncos more in the mouth than I think they were anticipating. Once again, Bo started hot. And now it's in reverse. Now they're starting hot and kind of fizzling in the second half. But he had a good first half. They continue with the passing game in the second half. Bo has the turnover. But the coaching on the sideline, Chad, I can't stop hearing it replayed in my head. Coaching. That is why the Broncos are now 1-1.
Brutal. So many factors that led to this. And people are going to want to throw Bo under the bus. And justifiably so. He deserves some criticism for that pick. They're going to want to MF Will Lutz. But really, Zach, yeah, William, oof. Thanks, buddy. Really, this is a defensive collapse. The Broncos defense could not stop a nosebleed in this game. And look, the Colts famously didn't punt last week, right? They scored on every single possession, and they scored on whatever it was, their first 4 today, before the Broncos finally got them off the field. But I digress here. The defense not doing its part. The Broncos had 3 touchdowns in the first half. This is the model offensively that this whole thing is built around, is get out to put some points up in the first half and let the defense do its thing. But the defense didn't do its thing, Zach, and we'll grab Taylor. Yeah, they gave the game away. That's how, exactly, bro.
So many people, I'll keep it quick because I know the Supers are going to be hot and heavy today. So many people are looking for one culprit. They're making it black and white as it always is, Chad. But this is very much a gray situation. It's on the defense. It's on the coaching. It's on Will Lutz for not executing. It's also on Alex Singleton for being exposed as the 2-down inferior linebacker that he is. There are a lot of hands in the cookie jar today, but I'm in agreement with you. If that defense looked anywhere near like they did in week 1, they would have won this game. I firmly believe that.
Brutal loss. And this is one of those from a symbolic point of view. Duchess, love you. Thank you jumping in on Super Chat, Michaela Parker. Aren't we supposed to have a good defense? So deflated. To this point, kind of ties to my point. She says, we're trash. Well, you're supposed to, if you're a legitimate contender, you're expected to win the games that you're quote unquote supposed to win. Last week, you're supposed to win that one, Zach. Having watched this newfangled Colts team, was this a game the Broncos were supposed to win? Because I think so, yes, for what it's worth. This is more of like a philosophical question here. But this Colts team, I'm telling you, if they stay healthy, especially Daniel Jones, they're going to be a factor in December. And now the Broncos lost that head-to-head tiebreaker if it comes down to wild card.
Well, they were favored to win this game by Vegas. They were favored by the prediction markets, Chad. So they should have won. And also, when you have a coach like Sean Payton saying Bo Nix is a top 5 quarterback and saying this is a Super Bowl caliber team, you have to come out and beat this team. You can't choke the game away like they did. So again, I see the comments, Bo Nix lost the game, this and that. He was also a culprit with that pick, but it was everyone. It was a collective team meltdown in the second half.
It was. Oh, man. And so think about this. We'll get to the Supers here in a second, but you had so many things, so many factors pointing in the direction of a Bronco victory. Not only the first half scoring, the Broncos getting Bo Nix back on the horse, pardon the pun. You get a opening possession touchdown in the second half, which has been rare. It's a rare occurrence for a Sean Payton coach Broncos team. How do you come out as losers in this one? And it really comes down to critical moments you didn't execute. The Bo Nix interception, Zach, obviously is gonna sting. Will Lutz missing that field goal. Then you get to that last, the kicker misses. First of all, do you think that was actually a penalty? Do you think that was genuine leverage, or did the Broncos get screwed?
I don't know. I want to go back and rewatch it. So much happened in a short period. It's like a ticky tack kind of bang bang kind of play. I've seen a lot of defenders do the same thing. They don't get called. I've seen them get called like Awuzurike was. It's just one of those things.
Did you see it, Scott?
You can't bring it down to the officiating though, Chad. Sorry to cut you off.
No. I was cutting you off. Yeah, it was one of those. It happened so fast, and I'm not as, I guess I need to study the letter of the law of leverage, etc. But that seemed really, I don't know, man. That seemed really ticky-tack. And that's not me trying to, as BK saying here, let's hear the excuses. That's not me trying to make excuses, but it's a genuine questionable thing. And even the broadcast team was going, ooh, there's going to be a lot of focus and talk over that leverage called. And the refs, Zach, was kind of funny because our friend Brandon Perna, that's good Broncos, he posted this morning on X before the game, a little goofy poll that said, who's going to win today, Broncos, Colts, or the refs? And it's kind of a ha-ha type of thing. But Zach, I can't think of a game off the top of my head where the refs in recent history, where the refs were as involved in everything that was going on in the outcome of the game as today. Now, that's not me making excuses. Again, Broncos, they found ways to lose. They snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, Zach. But it was almost like they were trying this ref unit, trying to like set some kind of a standard for the NFL. I don't know. It was pretty out of control.
Well, first of all, I'll speak for myself. Who am I making excuses for? I'm quite literally blaming everyone. Everyone, for the most part, except for maybe the ground game, was a culprit today in the loss. And Chad, you shouldn't have even taken it down to the final couple seconds to that field goal. How many times did the defense have a chance to get off the field? They converted that 1 3rd down to Alec Pierce, that big pass play from Daniel Jones. It reminds me a lot of the Los Angeles Chargers game from last season, the second game, or the Cincinnati game, where the offense did enough, but the defense could not get off the field.
Colin, it's very nice to have you. Welcome. Thank you for that super chat, big dog. Says that was the dumbest crap I've ever seen. Defense couldn't stop a run. He knows. I guess VJ has to lay at least one egg per year. One egg per year per his contract. Yeah, I don't know, man. It just didn't seem like the Broncos. Yeah, scheme was involved there. Like the Colts, Zach definitely had the beat on. It's almost like that loss last year for Shane Steichen. He was like, man, I see so many things that I wish I could have done different. And if I had the right quarterback, I would. And then he gets Daniel Jones, and he has the right quarterback who can execute from the pocket, has just enough mobility to be dangerous, and bada bing, bada bang. We can't also, Zach, we would be remiss to overlook just how dominant the Colts were on the ground today as a rushing offense. Like, Broncos got put in their place defensively. And what was it? 1 sack? Did they finish with 1 sack as a team? Yeah, Sternat.
They're extremely well coached, and they had a game plan, and they stuck to it, Chad. They didn't go away, and it's amazing what happens when you establish the run. I'll leave it at that.
Lady D jumping in. We've got the
Thank
ladies
you,
of MHH showing out on Super Chat. Awesome members, bona fide superstars. Deanna, thank you. She says, a horrific loss. What happened to the defense? Lutz, OMG, I'm just sick. This game was unbelievable. Hashtag MHH for life. It might not be the time to find the silver lining, so I'll put a pin in that for a second. But there are some silver linings that I'll get to later in this show that might be encouraging for people going into the work week. But yeah, Zach, just one lapse after another, and you would think that it was the opposite, that it was a Colts playoff team and a Broncos team kind of trying to rebound and become a thing, because the Colts played much more poised in the critical moments down the stretch than the Broncos did.
Yeah, thank you so much, Deanna, as always. And I'm not feeling too great about it either. I know it's week 2, a lot of season left, but that defense did let them down. Bo Nix with that pick did let them down. The coaching let them down. The refereeing, the officiating let them down. It was just a horrible, brutal outcome. And we have to keep our chins up and move forward.
TDV22 jumping in on Super Chat. Thank you. appreciate you. Good to hear from you saying when the offense is good, the defense sucks. When the defense is good, the offense sucks. It's been that way for a while now, and it's annoying. Yeah, that's true. But when they finally get their cylinders firing across the board, it's going to be a thing. And it's still very early, guys. Let's keep that in mind.
And again, 2 weeks in a row, Chad, they didn't play their best football. They went 1-1. They could have went 0-2, maybe should have went 0-2. So there's a lot to be encouraged by in that sense. I agree with you.
Last week, they were the only team in the NFL to lose the turnover battle and still win. Today, they fell prey to that pretty reliable NFL statistic, which is you lose the turnover battle more often than not, you're losing the game. Naj jumping in on Super Chat.
Hey,
bro,
Naj.
So good to see you. Terrible result today, but brother, thank you. He says, absolutely sickening. Gave away 9 points with that Knicks pick. Lutz being garbage under pressure and a horrible special teams decision on a 60-yard field goal. Just horrible all around. Zach, your thoughts for our good friend Naj, legend.
It says a lot to me. Thank you, Naj. It says a lot when he's not, bubbly. He's not seeing the rainbows because there's not a lot to take out of that right now in terms of rainbows and sunshine. And you're right. Every point you hit on here is correct. It's tough because we're in an emotional phase. This is the gut reaction. We all have to go back and rewatch the film. But my instant takeaway was if the Broncos were a little better coached, they would have been 2-0.
Lutz has been mostly reliable as a clutch time kicker for the Broncos. Think about it for a second, Zach. When's the last time that you can remember Lutz botching one in critical, like chips are down? Not necessarily game, as time expires like it was for the Colts, but just you needed it, he missed it. Like I can't think of one, and I don't have his numbers up in front of me. But yeah, that's a kick you got to make. People are going to question his leg and whether he's the right guy to kick at altitude for the Broncos, but yeah, horrible. I feel you, Naj, and sickening. Thank you, brother. Papa Bear, good to see you, big dog. Thank you for the super chat saying the penalty was BS. Good afternoon, Broncos country. He's still maintaining 13-4 plus. I think I got them all. That only leaves, Zach, room for 3 more losses for Papa Bear's prediction.
Yeah, and just to keep it real, I mean, the Broncos are entering the crux of their schedule in terms of difficulty, at least for the first half of the season, Chad. You got the Chargers coming up. You got the Bengals, the Eagles. Point blank period, they have to play a lot better on both sides of the ball, quite frankly.
Zach, you got to check Scott's comment in the chat. I don't even dare say it publicly, so I'm not going to, but it's funny. It's funny.
I mean,
yeah, we can't say that.
Wouldn't be shocked.
I wouldn't either. Fox family, brother, great to see you. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for being a member. It's so great to see all the members in the chat tonight and superstars. He says, though, that is all. Tough to watch. We were missing Malcolm Roach today, 200 yards. Yeah, that was tough. As a team, the Colts rushed for 167. Broncos narrowly eclipsed 100. I mean, not narrowly, but they got over 100, 118 rushing. And Bo Nix finished, Zach, 22 of 30, 206 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Daniel Jones looked like a freaking perennial all-pro against this defense. 23 for 34, 316 and a tutty, and he got the victory.
Yeah, again, they're doing something magical out there with Daniel Jones, keeping him clean, Chad, putting him in a different system, and he's thriving. And again, it boils down to the coaching. And let's just be honest, too. Jonathan Taylor, those Colts players, they get paid, too. They also looked tremendous last season against the Broncos. And, Chad, you could argue if it wasn't for that Taylor fumble at the goal line, they would have beat him back then.
And you could see that Taylor's a great player, right? We don't need to try and make exceptions for why he was good on a given day, but I think he was maybe a little bit extra motivated today to kind of make up for that massive snafu last year. So Taylor had the personal revenge angle, plus the Colts. I mean, that loss to the Broncos down the stretch last year disqualified him from the playoffs, essentially. Friendly Giant, where are our rookies? Yeah, you didn't see a lot from them, although Barron, Zach, had a pass breakup. He had a penalty. As far as rushing goes, Harvey carried it 5 times for 8 yards. He was basically an afterthought. This was a grinded out with J.K. Dobbins, game, 14 for 76. And his average, Dobbins, of 5.4 looks really nice because he had that decent run to open things up, and that kind of bought him a little bit of breathing room as his average just declined throughout the game. But for what it's worth, Pat Bryant caught his first pass of his career. He finished 2 of catches, 18 yards today, Zach. And then the Broncos chose not to dress Savion Jones and Q Robinson once again.
Or McLaughlin, who I'm really wanting him to get on the field as the third running back. I don't know though, Chad. As well as Dobbins played, I don't know any scenario where Harvey should only get 5 carries. I still think the ratio is off there with Sean Payton on offense.
Casey, good to see you, big dog. Appreciate the support from one of our longtime Super Chat superstars who says, our linebackers are horrible. Let's miss. And how the hell do you get a flag on a 60-yard attempt? I know. I think maybe it was, hey, guys, in all the pre-game preparation, Zach, Rizzy emphasizing how this kicker's never missed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yep. But, yeah, on a 60-yarder, that's inexcusable. And, I mean, again, I would want to rewatch it and like, look, okay, here's the rule on leverage. Have it locked in my mind. Rewatch the kick. But the refs called it, Zach. It is what it is.
And it's not some sort of made-up penalty that's never been called before in NFL history. I mean, if there's been calls of leverage in NFL games, it's just this happened to be on a game-winning kick. It's brutal loss. No two ways about it. Thank you, though, Casey.
Real quick, I just want to grab this one comment from Rove on X saying, we have to throw the ball to Sutton. 4 targets is unacceptable. You know, it's one of those things where you want to try to find a happier balance. The Colts, they had a good game plan for Cortland Sutton. They pretty well took him out of the game. He finished with only 1 reception for 6 yards on 4 targets, but that's the downside. The positive is Knicks found other people in the passing game. Like, he took what they gave him. Troy was there. Mims caught that touchdown. It was pretty much slim pickings from there. It's a little dink and dunk as far as everybody else, but he did. Bo Nix completed to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different receivers today, Zach.
That's the problem with having a spread the wealth offense or having too many weapons for a quarterback to throw to, because last week Sutton was the only receiver that Bo Nix was connecting with, and now he was an afterthought. I like that Evan Ingram kind of got involved, but it's still very much a work in progress with the passing game.
Patriot Tex, good to see you, my friend. He says, I don't believe in this team. Not been excited for this season. Here, Peyton goes again. They're not ready to open the season. This team is overhyped, period. Not good enough. I agree with one thing you said, brother, and that is I do think this team has been a bit overhyped. Now, that's not me trying to take anybody who still believes in Super Bowl. I'm not trying to take the wind out of your sails. Believe it. But that last, Zach, 6 weeks-ish of the summer before the season started, there's a lot of hype. And a lot of it had to do, Zach, with the things Sean Payton said. Yep. Not Bo Nix, Sean Payton. So hype so far, they haven't lived up to it, but it's early. Still a lot of football left to be played, guys.
Yeah, as much as we want to clown on outside sources, media outlets for hyping up the Broncos, because there are a few, it was coming from within the proverbial house. The calls were coming from within, starting with Sean Payton, with Bo Nix, the top 5 quarterback, and the Broncos, again, being championship caliber. That's what Sean Payton does, and it is all fine and dandy when the Broncos are winning. But when they lose, especially like this, when coaching was at play, it's a tough pill to swallow.
Gene, good to see you, buddy. That was uglier than expected. Cottonmouth said, yes, it was. Cottonmouth 78. Must not have had a good week of practice, VJ. Didn't. Boom. Zinger. I hear you. George, whoops, sorry, my bad. George and Eric, we'll grab Eric first, saying this is on Super Chat. This is the second week in a row that we tried to give our opponent the game. And this time, I'm throwing that in, we did. I wish they would cut Will Lutz. And the penalty at the end of the game was a joke. Yeah. But by that, are you saying that it was a joke that it was called, or like, what a joke that Uwazurike had that lapse, or whoever was it? Uwazurike? Yeah. So I don't know. But the Broncos kept the door open by making boneheaded decisions in the fourth quarter, boneheaded plays, and just lack of execution in the fourth quarter.
And you can't do that on the road against a better coach team, because the Colts were better coached than the Broncos were today. And when you give them the game, better teams are going to say, hey, thank you so much. We're going to take that. And now you're 1-1.
George Fox, you're so right about the defense. Our defense was as bad as I've seen them in 2 years. We couldn't stop anything. Hit the thumbs up, guys. Yeah, we've got all hands on deck, guys. We got over 500 in the room on YouTube. We're over 1,000 live in the room right now. So if you're with us, hit that little like button. Give us a hand, guys. It helps us out a lot in the old algorithm game. Eric Holt, we got you, buddy. Thank you. All right, let me get to Ted here. Great to see Ted Wunderlich, longtime superstar. Hoping to see you next month, buddy, at the meet and greet. Ted says, Broncos issue me a birthday loss. Oh, bummer, dude. Happy birthday, though, bro. Seriously, happy birthday. If you're playing just well enough to win, you're playing just poor enough to lose. I like that. I've never heard it said that way before. I like that. Real killers were the Knicks interception and the Lutz miss. Needed points on both possessions. Got to go 2-1 in the next 3 to make up for it. I mean, that's the problem with losing this one. I mean, guys, let's be honest. The Colts deserve to win this game today. They just did, and they did win. But Zach, these next 3 games, we're talking about the Chargers next week on the road, back home against. We'll see who's quarterback in the Bengals. Have you heard anything about Joe Burrow since earlier?
The rumor is he has turf toe, so he'll be out. He might
We'll
be out
see.
for that game.
Then the Eagles. So the next 3 games, Zach, are going to be brutal. I think, honestly, if you can even win one of those games and you come out of the first 5 weeks at 2-3, you can still make a solid go of it. If you can win 2 of the next 3, like he's saying here, yeah, you're going to still be in good shape.
Yeah, the headline, according to Scott, for Burrow is he could miss several weeks. He had that toe injury. The Broncos could have caught a break, but I don't want to beat teams at their weakest, Chad. I want the Broncos to go toe for toe with the contenders, with the champions of the NFL. And Ted, thank you so much. Happy birthday. I'm sorry the Broncos lost, but I would throw in there a reason why is because the defense, once again, could not get off the field. It reminded me last year of the Chargers and the Bengals game. The offense put up enough points. The defense kind of collapsed. So it goes.
That's why it's like, hey, there are aspects of this defense that are elite, right? Like you got the pass rush metric, and even Nick Bonito last week having 9 pressures. There's so many little markers that signify elite. You look at the guys on in the secondary, but none of that matters if you don't execute on game day. Completely lucid, jumping in on Super Chat. Thank you, pal. Defense will bounce back. Cut Lutz, the guy blows. I don't think he blows. I'm sorry. Like, I feel the pain that everyone has right now, but someone, if I'm wrong on this, and I could be, I'm telling you right now, I could be wrong. Tell me the last time Will Lutz as a Bronco let you down and significantly contributed to a loss. I'm serious. I genuinely want to know if I can't think of something right now, or if it's true that this is the first time. By the way, Lucid says, everyone relax on calling it the season. It's week 2. Let's also relax on fire Peyton, fire VJ, cut this guy, cut that guy. We're 2 weeks into the season, guys.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I mean, you're advocating for cutting Will Lutz, and then you're saying everyone relax. I agree with your second message. They're not going to cut Will Lutz because no one was even thinking about Will Lutz before this game. He's been a solid kicker during his time in Denver. He should have made the kicks today, and they have to move on with him. But it is still week 2 and a lot of football left to be played.
Scott, I think you need to get a job at Conan O'Brien as a writer or something, bro. You're cracking me up over here. Okay, Riptide, brother, should not have beat the Colts last year. Our run defense against elite running backs is terrible. Riptide is one of our great superstars and dear members of the community. And it was dicey, guys. If you take yourself back to last year, I mean, we're in the present right now, but nevertheless, it was not looking good. Anthony Richardson was playing well. It was all that Jonathan Taylor giveaway on the goal line, and that just sparked it gave the Broncos a second crack at life, and they just capitalized on it completely. So well said, Riptide. It's a problem. This defense running against the run, it's a problem. Hey, Sean Payton, are you still like going, yeah, we can afford to keep Dre Greenlaw out? Like, I'm still very skeptical that, like, if this was a playoff game or gotta have it game, I bet you Dre Greenlaw played it today. I bet you he suited up and he's out there. The fact that he was limited, the fact that he's moving in the right direction, like, I think it's just an abundance of caution, and it's blowing up in their face. Like, this is the type of game that you needed that big free agent signing to come in and wreck, not only as a run defender, Zach, but especially as a pass coverage linebacker. Chris Hernandez jumping in with a symbolic super chat, one of our oldest, most bona fide superstars and a dear member. His super chats on game day, Zach, on the gut reaction, as we know, always symbolic of the number of points the Broncos scored times the wins, I think. Isn't that the equation, Chris, I think? Anyway, Chris, love you, buddy. He says, Colts wanted it more. That's for sure. I have no other words besides click those little thumbs up, baby. 28 points times 1 win. See, if I just read the whole damn thing, then I wouldn't even have to ask the question. But Chris, brother, I'm living in the moment, dude. Thank you, pal. Much love and respect.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. And to the last comment about the Broncos should have lost last year's game against the Colts, why did they win? Arguably because Nick Bonito came up with that giant defensive touchdown. Where was that today? They weren't there. That same defense was not on the field. If they were, I think the result would have been quite similar.
Adventure Soldier pulling the trigger, becoming a member. Welcome, dude. Thanks, pal. Donovan Rios on Super Chat. Pat Surtain was not good. Do you think other teams will target Pat a ton after this game, or will this just be a fluke and teams stay away from him? I wouldn't say he wasn't good. I would say that, he wasn't perfect.
He's a human being.
Dude, even those catches he relinquished, this coverage was so sticky. The one play I'll tell you, I mean, he's going to wish he could have any completion back, right? But the one that is really going to bother him is that big third down conversion in the fourth quarter on that rub route. That one's going to bug him. And you got to wonder, Zach, how much his foot was bugging him. We don't know exactly going live at this moment what it's not that we're going to get much information from Sean Payton, but nevertheless, we don't know the full extent of that injury, but he obviously was good enough, Zach, to return to the field.
He's also a human being. I'll tell you something really quick. I watched a lot of Darrelle Revis in his prime with the Jets, and he's one of the best cornerbacks of all time, Hall of Famer. There was one receiver who tripped him up consistently, Stevie Johnson from the Bills. Who? Exactly. It proves that some corners, as good as they are, they have bad days, and it was just a lesser day for Pat Surtain. The good thing is he set the bar so high that today was a lesser day.
Colin jumping in again saying, where the hell was Sutton? Good question, man. I think it was a combination of the game plan, a combination of the Colts saying, hey, we watched what happened in this game. In week 1, we watched what happened last year against the Broncos where Cortland Sutton had an easy touchdown. And we're not going to let the Nix-Sutton connection beat us this time. And again, to Bo Nix's credit, he's like, okay, you're going to take away my number one. Cool. Boom. Troy Franklin. Boom. Marvin Mims. Like, he had it cooking. And we'd probably be seeing in Zach, honestly, the real fulcrum upon which this whole Colts comeback victory rests was the Bo Nix interception. That swung things, man. And then it just started to kind of devolve from there, one brick at a time, falling out of the wall, including Lutz. Bo, he's got to stop the picks, man. And it's so crazy because it's not his game. We know that. Like, that's one of the things that made him a great quarterback at Oregon, what made Sean Payton fall in love with him, one of the aspects anyway, that and the fact that he's a tough sack. And it's crazy how eerily similar it is to the first 2 games of last year where people were questioning Bo because he didn't look that good. He's turning the ball over inexplicably, and then you forgot that he even knew what the word turnover meant for so long. BLD, brother, good to see you. Thank you for the generous super chat, big dog, helping us keep the lights on. It's been a weird year, so thank you for that support, big dog. Call at the end was bad, talking about the leverage penalty, Zach, on the 60-yarder. Some guys just look too relaxed. It's only the second game, though. More things to come.
Yeah, thank you so much, BLD, for that super. Chad, what you said, what struck with me too is I don't know this Bo Nix. I wasn't expecting this sort of Bo Nix. And what I mean by that is we have to now anticipate and expect him to turn the ball over at least once a game, him to throw this boneheaded pick and maybe have 3 or 4 touchdowns on top of that, not including what he does with his legs. That is not the Bo Nix the Broncos drafted. And I said it last week and I'll say it again. It still seems like Sean Payton wants to make him this thing. And I don't know that Bo Nix can be the thing that Sean Payton wants him to be.
Well, he's traditionally always stat padded for his quarterback, whether that was Drew Brees or now, pardon me, Bo Nix.
He's not
That's not going to
Breeze.
change.
Yeah.
But is he trying to speak something into existence? Sure, because that is part of making something happen. You have to vocalize it in order to manifest it. You do have to get it out there into the universe. That's one of the laws of attraction for those of you who know what I'm talking about. So the question for me relative to Sean Payton trying to will and speak a Bo Nix superstardom into existence is, did you have to say it publicly? Could you not have just said it to the team? Could you not have kept it within the team? Because now you're putting some undue pressure. Now everybody, the smallest little thing Bo Nix does that isn't great, everybody comes down hard on him because you set the bar way up here. And Bo did too by having such a great rookie year. Naj jumping in again, dude. Thank you, brother.
Naj.
Says, brothers, we need Greenlaw desperately. Singleton and Sternad just were blown off the ball. Jonathan Taylor couldn't be stopped. I get it. It's week 2, but can't give games away in the NFL. And that's the thing is, Zach, as you corrected me, the Colts were favored to win this one. So you can't exactly call this a game the Broncos were supposed to win, even though I would say that. But you're supposed to win when you're basically nursing a touchdown lead in the fourth quarter with the ball and in scoring, on their side of the 50. You're supposed to win that game. So as he says, you can't give games away in the NFL.
No, and it worked last week with Greenlaw not being available. The Broncos won. Oh, we can get by without him. It's all good. Well, it's not all good when you have games like today happen. And you're absolutely correct, Naj. Because Singleton was exposed. Sternad is looking like a decent Band-Aid, but you need your big free agent signing out there. So I don't really care now at this point, Naj, whether he's 110%. If he's even close to 100, he's out there in week 3.
Thanks again, big dog. Always great to have you in the chat and stoked to see you soon, bro. Eric Flynn, I thought Rizzy was supposed to take our special teams to a new level. What was that about? I hear you. I really do. I've not been impressed with the results so far, Zach. I got to be honest with you. 2 weeks in, still early, so I'm not writing the book on this. It's just a couple of chapters so far. But you had Mike Westhoff, grizzled special teams sage, Zach, who stepped down halfway through the year last year. And when the Saints fired Dennis Allen, Sean Payton went, I got my eye on Rizzy. I know they're probably not going to retain him as head coach. So he couldn't wait to fire. What was his name? I'm brain farting his name. Yeah, Ben Kotwika. Maybe that was a mistake. We don't know that for sure yet, though. But I agree with you, Eric. Not been impressed with special teams. You had a Marvin Mims fumbled muffed punt last week that was a turnover. You had way too many coverage unit yards relinquished last week. Same this week. Not great coverage. You had the missed Lutz field goal, Zach, and then you had the 60-yard field goal leverage penalty, which gave him not a chip shot, but gave him basically a much more makeable field goal. Rizzy's got some splaining to do.
Yeah, he was hired because he's Sean Payton's boy, and some of us have gotten a little annoyed by that, importing these players and coaches simply because they were in Sean Payton's orbit. I want the best for this team. And it seemed like they replaced Kotwika because of the special teams blunders, the Tremont Smith penalty, the Alex Forsyth meltdown in Kansas City. Well, what's the excuse now with Lutz missing these field goals? Because I'll say one thing. My expectations for a special teams coordinator are the players do their jobs correctly. They snap the ball correctly. They return the ball correctly. They kick the ball correctly. They punt the ball correctly. That's it. If they can't do that, I want a better coach to get that out of them.
Okay, so here's Lucid coming back, answering my question. Short memory on Lutz. Missed a kick to tie in the playoffs. Missed in Buffalo. Got saved by 12 men on the field. I'm sorry, but no, he sucks under pressure. I don't know. I disagree. I haven't worried about him. You know who I used to worry about under pressure? Brandon McManus. There's one kicker besides Jason Elam who I've not ever worried about under pressure as a Bronco ever, like who had a significant tenure. And that was Matt Prater. And Lutz, up to this point, that's the first time I can really say, okay, dude, like off the top of my head, I'm not like studying the box scores and going back. This is just off the top of my head. First time I can think that Lutz significantly impacted a loss. Taylor, hey, let's celebrate, dude. He's been a member for a month on YouTube, brother. Thank you, pal. PS2 though didn't look good after he got injured. I wouldn't say didn't look good, but he just dude, Daniel Jones was on the money today, guys.
Mm-hmm.
There's no defense to a perfect pass. There is no defense. Just everyone's to blame. Horrible.
Yeah, if there's one takeaway from this gut reaction, don't take it from Chatterai, take it from Jess here, because everyone is to blame. And that's how it usually goes in the NFL, barring something unique. It's that there's more
True.
than one person responsible for a loss, Chad, coach or a player or a circumstance, whatever. There are a lot of culprits for today's game.
On offense, you had the giveaway. On specials, you had the missed kick and you had the penalty. And then defense couldn't stop a freaking nosebleed. Yep. David Wilder still rocking his MHH shirt like a boss, dude. Legend. Great to have one of our longtime superstars and members in the chat saying, I need to break out my coaching t-shirt. We need a new tee which says kicking.
Yeah, it's true, and I don't want to hammer the phrase home too much, or I'm not trying to push the merch on you, David, but it's true. A lot of wins and losses in the NFL, it comes down to who's wearing the headset on the sideline, and today, Steichen got the better of Sean Payton.
He did, man. Steichen was ready for this one, and I hate saying it, but I'll say it again. The Colts deserved to win this game. So the Broncos choked it away. It is what it is. Joe Anthony on Facebook. Why doesn't Sean Payton give the play calling to Davis Webb and just coach the team as a whole and let him make the calls? And if he doesn't like it, then overrule him on certain calls. Because, Joe, Sean Payton's really good at what he does. All right. We look at the play calling. We don't always know, where the ball's supposed to go, what the hot read is, what the original design and strategy. I have not lost any faith in Sean Payton. This is the league, guys. Teams lose any given Sunday, and you're on the road. Broncos have had a tough time, really, over the past 2 decades winning at Lucas Oil Stadium. Last time being, 2017 was the last win, I want to say. It might have been longer than that, but either way, they get paid too. The Colts had their dander up for this one, Zach, and they just executed so well on all phases. They overcoming 3 first-half touchdowns that Bo Nix put on the board and just not being deflated by that in the second half when Bo Nix comes out and puts another touchdown on the board with the offense. Sometimes you just have to tip your cap and go, you got me.
And the Colts did that without 2 starting corners, Chad. So, yeah, sometimes the other team and players were better. That was the case today. But for Sean Payton, the play calling, he has 18 million reasons why he wouldn't do that. Put it that way.
Yeah. V. Corenstra jumping in on Super Chat. Great to see you. Thank you for the super. I want to invite you to become a member of the YouTube channel. Why are we playing so much zone coverage when we constantly get beat? Go back to last year when we were playing man almost 80% of the time. The only thing I can guess, Zach, is that something in the way that the scheme, right, in the game plan, they felt they'd be better off with zone, but I don't know. I don't have an answer for that, buddy.
He must, and this has been a complaint too, especially with PS2, who thrives in man press coverage and not the zone scheme like VJ likes to run. It's just a preference, and I don't know if it's because of PS2 or Riley Moss or something VJ's seeing out there, but I'm with you on that.
Todd, one of our great members, says, I still believe in this team. They will rebound. The Broncos have plenty of talent. They will go back and figure out what to do to improve. Bo has done it many times so far. Yeah, I'm not worried, guys. Honestly, I'm disappointed right now. I'm not worried about the overall outcome of how the season's going to unfold. I'm not at this stage. There's so much, we could do a whole hour right now just talking about the silver linings and the good things. It'll come together. That I don't doubt. It's just a question of when, because you only have so much room for error in the league, right? The margin for error is very slim. Flat Earth Trini in the house. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. What a game. We stayed in it versus a tough Colts squad. Moral victory on this one. I don't know if people are going to see it as a moral victory. I'm glad you're taking that point of view, Trent, but I don't think the majority of Broncos country will see this as a moral victory, but I appreciate the positive spin.
Yeah, I'm not a big moral victory kind of guy. The Broncos should have won today's game. They should have been 2-0, and they have no one but themselves to blame for that, Chad.
The Lady D jumping in once again.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Deanna.
Deanna. She says, what? Pardon. That was a bogus call on that field goal. Just sickening. Barf emoji. Franklin played well. Why didn't we pressure the quarterback? Overall, I felt Bo Nix played well. Sternad's doing okay. Lutz does stink under pressure. Sternad was bad today. Him and Singleton sucked. The Colts had their way with the second level, guys. Like, it was like they might as well not have even been there. They were cleanup artists today. That's it, man. The linebacker play was utterly atrocious. And I agree. Bo Nix played well until he didn't. You can't throw a pick in that situation, dude. You can't. And if you think about the replay, they did a good job of illustrating, Zach, how he kind of had to short arm it because of the pressure. But still, man, you got to maybe take the sack there or just like buy yourself time. And if it results in a sack, don't throw a ball that you can't control. If you can't step into it, dude, it's one thing, Zach, to throw a ball you can't step into that's a little dump off or something, a little within like a 5 to 8 yard radius. But to try and push it down the field like that when you can't step, your accuracy goes out the window. Bye-bye. And then we'll grab Eric.
Yeah, it wasn't ever his game at Oregon. It wasn't his game as a rookie with the Broncos last season. And I don't know, but he has to get this under control because we can't come to expect him to turn the ball over. It's not why the Broncos drafted him, Chad.
And you also got to wonder what that little John was about between Bo and Peyton on the sideline in the second half. Kind of curious. Eric Holt, again, brother, thank you. The call was a joke, but I just watched the replay. DJ put his hands on the center, and the center maintained his base. Horrible call. So, yeah, I don't know. Scott, would you do me a favor? Could you find the leverage definition for me, dude, and just put a link, and we'll do some, maybe not scratch and sniff, but we'll see about that. Eric, thank you, buddy. Guys, lots more to get to. The chat is still on fire. We're 42 minutes in, but we still have a lot of Broncos Colts to talk about here today. But guys, first, real quick, football's back. It feels good. Today sucks because the Broncos lost, but still, thank your lucky stars. Football's back. In case you missed it, Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog, guys, it's simple. It's easy. You just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on a given stat, like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more.
That's right. Get your picks correct, and you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. So if you think you've got a beat on what Bo Nix's or any Broncos player stats are going to be in week 3, download Underdog and win some money today.
It's fun, guys, to play Underdog, watch football, and still have the chance to win money. I mean, touchdowns. So download the Underdog app today. Sign up with our code MHuddle to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's our promo code MHuddle. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog. Make picks, win money.
18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
So here's how the NFL, Zach, and then we're going to grab. No, I'll just mention this and we'll grab D-Dub. Here's how the NFL defines leverage. A defensive player jumping or standing on a teammate or an opponent to block or attempt to block an opponent's kick. So think about that for a minute. Let's grab D-Dub, who the other night, man, what a weird stream that was. Right after Drake is on the podcast Thursday night, the stream just shut down and we didn't even realize it. We went for like a whole other 15 minutes before we realized that the chat had stopped, and we're like, oh wait, we're not streaming. And then we jumped back on, but Dale had thrown down some serious supers. We did get your supers in the second when we reconnected the stream. So, but anyway, love you, big dog. Thank you so much for the support as always. And I'm sure what we're going to read here too, some much needed wisdom. D-Dub says, can't stand doomsday fans. Game 2, Indy's pass pro was awesome. We played a good team. Denver had a lot of great plays on both sides, but also a few costly mistakes. The same could be said for Indy. I liked the run game. We've got work to do. This is the NFL. Well said, Zach.
Dale, you are always a beacon of rationality around here. Thank you so much for the super and for the insight, because it's true. The Broncos are only 1-1. They haven't had the most encouraging start after 2 weeks, but I think I'm optimistic because of that, Chad, because we haven't seen their best football yet. And what you said earlier, I said to myself during the game, when both sides of the football, offense and defense, and I guess we'll include special teams, when those all coalesce and click at the same time, this is going to be a championship caliber team. We just have yet to see that, and it's kind of disheartening. But thank you again, Dale.
By the way, the call was on Tillman, so for what it's worth. But yes, this is pragmatism. I wouldn't even say Dale's trying to be an optimist here. This is pragmatism. This is prudence. This is perspective. The Broncos, there are some silver linings. I told you at the top of the show that I'd share some of those with you before we got out of here, and I'm going to before we leave. James Todd jumping in. Thanks, buddy. Good to see you. It says, we win this game if Lutz hits the field goal. We really made Daniel Jones look like Peyton Manning. We gave that game away more than the Colts won it. I don't know, man. Colts and the Hoosiers films, congrats to you. I mean, you guys were the better team today. You came out on top, and props to the Colts. And I think they're going to be – I think their tide has turned a little bit, kind of perhaps on a similar level as how it turned for the Broncos last year. And the Broncos, that tide has still turned in their favor. It was a tough loss, but Zach, just off the top of my head, a few things good to say about today. And then we'll get to some studs and duds, and then we'll dip out because we're at about 47 minutes. But first of all eyes were on Bo Nix. A lot of scrutiny, Zach, a lot of pressure, a lot of negativity, a lot of criticism after week 1 with 3 giveaways and a pretty forgettable stat line against the Titans, who, of course, qualified for the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft. He played like a dude. He played like a top quarterback in the first half and honestly in the third quarter as well. But you can't be a top quarterback and make the kind of boneheaded throw that you did in the fourth quarter. So you got to figure out, that was the fourth quarter, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure it was fourth quarter. He threw that pick. Either way, second half, okay? Sometimes it's all a blur when you're going from the frying pan to the fire like we do here on the live streams. But Bo Nix, I was really encouraged overall. Zach, there's more things I want to say. But first and foremost, your thoughts, because, yes, you don't want to excuse that pick. But if we're being honest, I think people were pretty relieved to see Bo get back on the horse, so to speak, again, and throw those touchdowns and play an efficient brand of football, with the exception of that one pick.
If it weren't for that pick, and I don't play the what if game very often, but if he didn't throw that pick, Chad, and the Broncos won, or even if he did and the Broncos won this game, everyone would be talking about the picture-perfect Marvin Mims touchdown, or that scramble completion to Troy Franklin, where if Patrick Mahomes did that, it'd be replaying constantly on SportsCenter over and over and over. So you're right. There was a lot that positive to take away from Bo. You can see his progression as a passer in year 2. You can see he has more command of the offense. It just seems like sometimes he has too much command. He has too much confidence, and he has too much, I don't know about the leniency maybe within the scheme to take those chances downfield. He cannot turn the ball over, and that's why we're talking about a Broncos loss today, partly because of that.
I mean, on top of the Bo Nix thing, you have a run game that is continuing to find its footing. It wasn't exactly dominant in the same way that the Colts run game, Zach, was dominant today, but I'm encouraged by the Broncos putting up roughly 275 rush yards in 2 games. Like, that's a step forward compared to where it's been.
Yeah.
And kind of neither here nor there, but Javonte Williams looks like 2021 Javonte Williams. What, that's Sam Hill?
Wow, I literally tweeted that, so good shout. Yeah, I don't know where that Javonte was in Denver, but he is absolutely killing it right now in Dallas, so good for him.
Seto Boy Welcome to the manger. Thank you for becoming a member. Really appreciate the support, my friend. Boise Man jumping in on Super Chat. I can't get on board with the conservative play calling. By the way, it was great to see you at halftime. Guys, making it clear real quick, the halftime streams are back 100%. So at halftime, you're going to see moving forward, Zach and myself doing the live streams. There might be the odd game here and there where I can't make it at halftime or Zach can't make it, but the halftime streams are back. Boise Man, it was great to see you there earlier today. But he says, I can't get on board with the conservative play calling. 1st and 25 or not, you try for the touchdown on that last drive. And, of course, tough stretch of games coming up. Zach, your thoughts for Boise Man?
Yeah, thank you, Boise. And something you said earlier about Sean Payton is true, is that he's a hell of a coach, and we can't forget that. But my one complaint the last couple seasons has been the play calling. It looks genius on one series, and then you're scratching your head the next series or game by game or whatever. He has to be more consistent, and he has to find out what this team is, the identity. And I think right now, after 2 weeks, it's clear when he has established the running game, good things have happened. The Broncos should be a run-first team and then let Bo play off of that.
More context, more perspective here from Scott saying 2021, the Broncos started 3-0. Remember how great it felt, that meet and greet, Teddy just demolishing the Jets, and then it was literally all downhill from there. Meanwhile, Chiefs started 1-2 that year and went to the AFC Championship. So let's keep things in perspective. David Wilder, Bo needs to play better situational football. I agree.
Agreed.
He needs to improve. I think he does pretty well in the red zone. I'm not going to critique him much there. His third down and just late game critical situation poise, he needs to improve that. There was a comment here or a super I saw from Audison. Where is it? This. Some people are saying Bo's too cocky. And Robert here on Super Chat, one of our great members, says, Bo is cocky, and I like it. A gunslinger. Go Broncos. I got to tell you, Zach, I like it too.
For all my cat owners out there, really quickly, if you've watched a cat who gets excited, you can see the energy start to build in them, and when it reaches a crescendo, they snap or they do something, they have to react. And that's where I feel, to an extent, Bo Nix is. He gets all this hype and energy and momentum built during the game, and then he starts to feel himself a little more, and he has to take that shot down the field, or he has to force it into double coverage. So 100% agreed. A lot to like about Bo after 2 weeks, but situationally, a lot left to improve as well.
No doubt about it. And so, yeah, better situational. That's got to improve. Chris, hey, dude, welcome. Thank you for becoming a member. Much appreciated. We have more and more content for members only coming up. Right now, you got Kelberman's Korner with Zach on Tuesdays at noon Mountain Time, Broncos Book Club with me on Fridays, noon Mountain Time, and we're adding more stuff here very soon. So thank you for becoming a member, Big Dog. Casey Nickel, another legend, jumping in for the second time tonight.
Thank you,
saying,
Casey.
well, at least the Chiefs lost again. We let this slip away, but we can steal one back next week, then beat the Burrow-less Bengals. Yes, we want their best, but it is what it is. Yeah, you can only play whoever it is that's lined up across from you. But, Zach, talk about silver linings. That's definitely another one of them today. Philly beat the Chiefs 2017.
Yeah, Philly's going for a second title in a row. That game against the Broncos is not going to be easy, but we have to just focus on who's in front of Denver right now. So you're right. We can't control whether Jake Browning or Joe Burrow starts for Cincinnati. We just have to hope that the Broncos end up winning that football game, because now they have to.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of rooting for the Raiders tomorrow night. Both teams are 2-0, or pardon me, 1-0. So if the Raiders won, they would be in sole possession tomorrow night of the AFC West. But I don't see it. If they did win, I still don't see it being sustainable. I see that coming home to roost eventually. Whereas I don't want to see the Chargers, Zach, get out to too much of a lead early on at 2-0. G4S Troy, why was this defense so bad? That was shocking. I don't have an answer for you. The closest thing to an answer that rings true to me at this very moment upon one live viewing of the game, Zach, is the Colts intensity, which informed / contributed to how they executed so well. Their intensity was higher than the Broncos defense. Like that Colts offense, man, came out filling their oats. You know, hey, we scored on all our possessions last week. they almost got there again today. Like they got about halfway there. I don't know, man. The secondary was made to look relatively mortal, and there was no pass rush. And Zach, you couldn't stop the run to save your freaking life. So those are three things in combination that typically you can't survive and come out on top and win a game unless you're Peyton Manning Broncos 2013 in Dallas, against Tony Romo, a game like that, but those teams are pretty rare.
Yeah, I mean, there was the PS2 injury, and it seems like, Chad, even when he had the concussion last year, it seems like when PS2 gets hurt, the Broncos defense just freaking falls apart. I don't know why, but not having Drake Greenlaw out there was a big Achilles heel for them today. And also, we've talked about it quite a bit already. The Colts are sneaky good. They have a lot of good players on that side of the ball, and they took the Broncos defense to the woodshed today. It happens.
Really, this is the only good thing that you can say about the defense today. From a Colts fan named Bruce Cox in the chat. Welcome, Bruce. You stopped us twice on 2 4th down attempts. That's good. But that's about it. Can you think of one other good thing to say about the defensive display today, Zach?
Jonah Ellis looks like a monster. Each and every week he's getting better. That, to me, that's where the line is, though.
Let's grab this one from our friend Nick Hale, who said on Facebook, the run defense, so crappy. Daniel Jones was picking apart our corners, including Surtain. How many one-score losses have we had over the years? It's maddening. I know it's a long season, but these games are so tough to swallow. Yeah, much has been made, Zach, about the Broncos' record in single-score games last year, and that's just one of those things that they have to get on top of if they're going to genuinely be a contender. Is the Colts today played better in the critical moments, late, clutch points, whatever you want to call it, than the Broncos, and that needs to be inverted if the Broncos are going to live up to their aspirations.
Yeah, we said the word a few minutes ago, but situationally with the coaching, the quarterbacking, and the defensive play, they just when the clutch moments roll around, or when they have to have it, they have to be on their P's and Q's and play 100% their A+ football. And we didn't see that in the second half today. Far from it.
Benji, a great member, says false face mask on Troutman. Yeah, what was that about? I never saw the face mask. No call PI on Troy Franklin. A delay a game for the spike. That was another lapse. That was another screw up by J.K. Dobbins late in the game. It's like, come on, dude, act like you've been there before, my dog.
Yeah.
Were we watching the same game? The refs robbed us. All right, I agree at the end with that. Again, I'm not sure yet on the leverage thing. I got to watch it a couple times. But in terms of penalties, the Colts were penalized 11 times for 68 yards. The Broncos were penalized 8 times for 83 yards. And that last penalty was the dagger, Zach.
I just don't believe, Benji, in blaming officiating for how a game turns out. Especially, we see your supering here, 499. Thank you. I think it's the same comment. Every call was tacky. I mean, every call is ticky-tack. That's what it is in the NFL. But JK, that's what happens when you spike the ball. It's a delay of game penalty. It's like if you speed past a cop, just because he didn't pull over somebody else doesn't mean he's not going to come get you if you broke the law. And that's what the Broncos did. They have to play better situationally.
Okay, real fast, then we're going to get out of here, guys. Zach, studs and duds. I'm going to just throw you the name. You tell me stud or dud, okay? J.K. Dobbins today.
Stud.
Bo Nix.
Stud.
Troy Franklin.
Stud.
R.J. Harvey.
Dud.
Tyler Bidet.
Dud.
Marvin Mims, 2 catches, 24 yards, and a touchdown.
Stud. That catch was beautiful.
Pat Bryant, two receptions, 18 yards.
First catch was a first down. Stud.
Evan Ingram, 1 singular catch for 12 yards.
Hey, came in a pretty good situation, so stud.
Adam Troutman, 3 catches, 10 yards, 1 touchdown.
I guess stud.
Cortland Sutton, 1 catch, 6 yards.
Dud. Invisible.
Real quick, defense. Pat Surtain led the team. That tells you guys what kind of game this was. Led the team in tackles, Pat Surtain.
For what PS2 is, I'll say dud. He set the bar too high.
Dude, that might be his career high. 11 tackles in the game. Talanoa Hufanga.
Stud.
Alex Singleton.
The biggest stud.
Brandon Jones.
Stud.
Here's a more controversial one. Riley Moss.
I like Riley a lot, man. I think he comes up big. I'm going to say stud. Maybe I'm biased.
Justin Sternad.
Pains me. Oh, man, I don't know.
He got
Stud.
a sack, but
I don't know. In the middle.
Zach Allen, who had 5 tackles, but no pressure really.
Dud, yeah. He has to perform to his contract.
Cooper, similar.
These are duds, yeah.
And Benito.
Dud.
Tillman with the penalty.
Ellis was a stud, though.
What about, here's one for you real quick. Jaquan McMillan.
I don't pay too much attention to him. I can't really notice. I don't know. I'll say stud then.
Guys, it was, last but not least, Will Lutz.
Dud.
Got to be comprehensive in the studs and duds. You know what I mean? Can't leave anybody out. Thank you, Mr. Producer. Surtan's previous career high in tackles was 8. So that tells you what kind of day at the office it was. Not only in the sense that there were a lot of plays at the third level that corners were having to clean up, but also that Surtan gave up some receptions today that he also then tackled. That's the one thing I'll give him, unless I'm missing something off the top of my head. But yeah, he gave up a few catches today, but they were immediately tackled. They're not like huge gashers, etc. But guys, we have a few messages for you, so don't dip, because we're going to come right back and take one last look at the chat. Hang tight.
Despite the outcome, another tremendous gut reaction episode of the Mile High Huddle podcast. If you're not doing so, please follow us on X at the MHH Pod. You can follow the main account on X at Mile High Huddle. Chad at Chad and Jensen, myself at Kelberman NFL, and Scott, our producer, at Scout Kennedy. If you guys want some merch like we're rocking each and every single podcast, check out mhhmerch.com. Get you something just like that. If you haven't done so yet, please drop us a like at facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod. You can find us on Instagram at mile_high_huddle. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you're leaving your football priest a 5-star review for a chance to win some merch each and every single month. But if anything, y'all, please, very important as always that you subscribe, you like, you share this video and every video you see on the MHH channel. It really helps us grow and reach more Broncos fans just like you.
Chris becomes a member and he throws down a super chat with the parting message of motivation for the next game. Let's go. Love it, dude. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you, Nick. Thanks for holding group therapy for us, Chad and Zach. We love you guys. We love you
That's
too.
what we're here for.
Shout out to Pearl, one of our great members. Todd saying, oh, for sure, why is Sean even in the NFL? He should have been fired in the first quarter. He's kind of dunking on someone's comment elsewhere in the chat. Let me see if there's anything else. I think for the most part, Zach, I mean, Bruce, for what it's worth, this is an indie guy saying you guys can dethrone Kansas City easily. Looks like everybody's dethroning the Chiefs this year. I'm just kidding. But still, like 0-2, pretty rough. But guys, we'd be remiss to discount the Chiefs this early in the season in the same way that we would be remiss to write off the Broncos because of a loss in week 2. So the Broncos, Zach, go into week 3 facing the Chargers at 1-1. We'll see what the Chargers record is after tomorrow night, but mile high salute and a great some props to the great Super Chat superstars, supporters, and new members tonight, helping us keep the lights on. In order, rapid fire: William Shaw, Taylor Christensen, the Duchess, Michaela Parker, Cullen, TDV22. Some newer names here. I love it. Papa Bear, Fox Family, the Lady D, Friendly Giant, Naj, Casey Nickel, multiple supers as well. Patriot Tex, Cottonmouth, Eric Holt, George Fox on Facebook, Ted Wonderlick, Completely Lucid, Rip Die, Chris Hernandez, love you. Adventure Soldier, becoming a member. Donovan Rios, Eric Flynn, Taylor Christensen, Jess C., David Wilder, Joe Anthony, Kiva Enstra, Trini. Let's see, BLD, James Todd, Cito Boy, Boise Man, G4S Troy, D-Dub Dale, love you, buddy. Colts Guy, Hoosier Films, Robert Otteson, Chris Bell becoming a member, and a superstar, Benji Clay. Much love and respect, guys. Appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow. And by the way, good point here from Scott. Both of these losses for the Chiefs, Zach, at home. So interesting, but we'll see you guys tomorrow, Zach and I, for the aftermath episode. And then don't forget also bright and early. You'll get some fresh analysis morning after from Broncos for Breakfast, Nick and Eric. So keep your chin up. It's early yet. See you tomorrow.
Have a great rest of your Sunday. We'll see you tomorrow night. Take care. And as always, go Broncos.